Memorial Day to all those families who have lost family members in wars over the years. Our hearts are with you today, and that is why we celebrate, is for those who sacrificed. Which made it really interesting is today is the day I decided to start launch my LinkedIn Lives. But when we decide to do something, we just have to go for it, and that's what I did. So, my name is Amy. Most people know me as the Giggling Google Guru, and I am really focusing on companies now that are looking for their hidden consumer. So my LinkedIn lives are really going to be about how do we find your hidden consumer. In today's day and age, we don't focus on specific people anymore or that ideal client. A lot of companies just focus on let's throw the really biggest net possible and someone in there will probably want to buy from us, which really doesn't help us keep our businesses going. So that's where I'm going to take some of this focus. The other reason I'm doing this is I wrote a book called The Corn Dilemma, What Food Producers Don't Want You to Know. We're in the editing phase right now, and it will be released January 23rd of 2024. And a lot of what I talk about in that book is about the company, and it's about my experience trying to find products, but how I'm going to take that to help my business moving forward. So that Corn Dilemma is really about a book for my business, but it encompasses a little bit more than just that. So today, what I want to talk about is an article that popped up, and I've written a blog on this, and the blog will be out on Wednesday about um, there was an article in the Washington Post about sesame and how sesame is starting to be used more and more often, even though it's a recognized allergen within the United States, but it's not being labeled on packages. So the article talked about a couple of moms who had been unknowingly poisoning their children because they were ingesting what they thought had been safe foods, but were now no longer safe because sesame had been added in, whether it be sesame flour on the equipment or actual sesame being added into the product itself. The reality is this is a common occurrence. And if for those of us like me who are anywhere on the sensitive to allergy level of foods, this is a common occurrence. We know that what's safe for us today may not be safe tomorrow because maybe the product is manufactured differently. Maybe the company who makes the product is now buying ingredients from someone else and they have a different standard of practice for safety and for recognizing what ingredients need to be talked about. All those will have an effect on the people who have illness and get sick really easy from eating food. So it's common. But what was interesting is they actually mentioned in the Washington Post article, they mentioned Wendy's. And Wendy's bun supplier had changed and added sesame to their buns, which is why for this specific family, Wendy's food was no longer safe for them because their one safe item was no longer safe. Here's what's interesting, and this is the where I'm going taking my business and where I'm coming from is in a situation like this, if you are a company and you are buying a food product or any product that's going to be used and sold under your name, you need to be aware of how people are manufacturing and what they're doing to those products. You can't assume that the agreement that they're going to make this product using this ingredients is going to continue and be that way for a lifetime. Things change. Was it in 2019? Even the federal regulations on allergies loosened, so which is making more people sick because we can't find all the ingredients. So now we have to make more of an assumption your food is just not going to be safe, so we have to stop buying products. One, that's not the point of capitalism, right? You want the money, so why not make it easier for more people to buy your product? And two, safety is a huge issue. Whether you recognize food allergies as an issue for people doesn't matter. We're out there, we're shopping, we're trying to find safe products. I am an extreme case. I can't buy at grocery stores. So I know the ins and outs from the smallest detail to how far you have to go to ensure that we've got the best safety for food. And in my case, I had to move to California because I couldn't buy in a grocery store. I want you to soak that in. I cannot find enough safe food pre-boxed in a grocery store because the organics, the natural produce isn't safe for me. But the average person doesn't know why. Why would you assume? Why would you think that I wouldn't be able to eat at a grocery store? And it's because of that lack of knowledge is where my book is coming from and where I'm transitioning my company is I really want to put that focus on how do we help more people understand how our food is made, but how do we get more sales for the companies who are making better foods, but they can't find their consumer. A great example is this past week, I was introduced to a new company, uh, and they've been around for a couple of decades. And I've only been dealing with my food issue for about a decade now. I'm on that cusp of a full decade, and I'd never heard of them. Had I known about them 10 years ago, I would have been using them already. But I didn't know, I couldn't find them. I literally had to have someone else who happened to know about them because they happened to know the owners were able to introduce me. So if you don't know how to market to that group of people that's going to buy your product, how are you going to stay in business? There are so many companies that get started to do better, create a healthier product that just never make it because they can't find who to shop, who to buy their product. So where this is going is in our today's digital world, we have spent a lot of time as companies focused on search engine optimization, which doesn't help us. That's the platform that helps you throw that really large net. Let's see what's going to happen, and maybe someone will come in. So you're going to get a lot of traffic to your website, but no one's buying. Or you're lucky if you get a 1% conversion rate. Those aren't great odds. If you can find the person who actually wants to shop for you and understand what they're looking for so you can relay that on your website, now when you bring people in, they're going to stick. They're going to engage. They want to know, okay, you understand what's going on. You know what I'm looking for, and they're going to keep going. And if you sell products online, they're going to buy from you. So this is just one little sliver of what I focus on. One little sliver, because there's other issues that we're going to talk about over the next few weeks and months, like customer service. How do you talk to people with allergies to make sure that they understand you either do or do not know what they want, and be honest about it? Let's be transparent. It's something we don't have. What about ingredient purchasing? Who's buying those ingredients? What are they looking for? What are your standards? What are your processes around purchasing ingredients for, so that you can safely talk about what's in your food or what's in your product? In my case, I even have clothes I can't wear anymore because they're made from my allergen, so I can't wear them. And I have to know that and just take a guess. If it's made from this fabric, it's highly likely I can't wear it because my allergen will be made in it. So again, not many people are as sensitive as me, but it gives me that ability to say, this is what other people are looking for, so we can really dig in to find you the right person to buy your product. So back to Wendy's and their burgers, right? I've never eaten there, so I don't have much I can say on that, except that when it comes to the people with with allergies or food sensitivities, we're always on the lookout. It's sad when a company doesn't understand how their ingredients or what they're doing within their for making their food. They don't understand the impact it has on the public who is eating it. You can't assume that every single person eating your product is going to be fine and safe. If you're spending your time hiding your ingredients, you're only setting yourself up for failure. You really, in today's day and age, when it comes to food, there are so many people that have allergies. It's not like it's just a few of us anymore. It is there are whole conferences for people with food allergies. Like That's intense, and we're not talking like only a couple hundred people show up. This is I would call it almost a pandemic. There are so many people around the world with allergies, and not all of them are recognized. So the other thing we have to understand is that the United States only recognizes 8 allergens. The European Union recognizes 14, but that still leaves an entire list. I mean, 7, 6 just between the United States and the EU that the United States doesn't recognize, but we still have other allergens out there that aren't recognized by any country. I fall into one of those categories, which means I have to be more aware of how you're making your product. So I'm going to be the one that calls your customer service department to ask you those questions that you don't know how to answer because you're like, why would anybody care? And it's because we have allergies that aren't recognized. We have to get to an understanding that not every allergen is recognized. And we have to grasp that concept and understand that. It's not something people get. How When I was originally diagnosed with mine, a common question I got was, well, the FDA doesn't recognize it, so it can't be real. No, that's not quite how it works. And the FDA is not actually out there to protect us in the food industry. Like that's not their goal. So no, they're only going to recognize what they really feel. And in my case, they had the industry that for the food I'm allergic to actually write the allergen information, which says, "Oh yeah, there's no way," because no company is going to say their product can cause an allergy. No one's going to do that. And unfortunately, that's what the FDA does. They go to that actual industry to ask them, "Do you think someone can be allergic to your product?" No one's ever going to admit that. I mean, come on. So we've got to be more aware of what's going on around us. We've seen more and more talk about allergies as well in the larger world around us. For example, we have the teal pumpkin, right? For those who might have a food allergy, look for the homes with the teal pumpkin. I don't put out the teal pumpkin, but anyone that comes to my house is not going to get candy. Like I put out stickers and tattoos, and I do other fun stuff because hey, I can't eat it. So if not enough kids come and get it, it's just going to go to waste. I'm not going to keep it in my house. So we're always looking for new ways and things like that. So there is awareness out there. We need to grow upon that awareness to really make sure that people understand it is much larger issue than is fully understood. And there are many times where you might even be sick and don't know why. That was one of the main things that led to my diagnosis is I had been sick for about 3 years before we figured out I actually had a food allergy, and I had to eliminate the allergy if I was going to get better. And it did. It made a world of difference once we figured out what I was allergic to. But 3 years, 3 years, doctors couldn't figure it out. No one, and part of it is the blood tests don't work. They're only 50% accurate to determine if you actually have an allergy. So you might have an allergy and it can't be detected on a blood test. That does no one anybody good. I mean, if that's what you're basing your sole diagnosis on is a blood test, it's not going to work for you, for most people anymore. And in part of my book, I do kind of delve into this. I'm not a microbiologist and I'm not a doctor, so please know that as well. I am an allergy sufferer, but I don't have those degrees. So I come it from my own personal experience and how to help move people forward to find more clients. But we just have to take more time to really think about our food. So moving forward, as I do more of these LinkedIn's, it's really going to be about focusing on different articles, what could be done differently, why was it a problem, where did things get missed. I'm also going to be inviting people on because 15 minutes of me just talking, I'm sure nobody wants that. So we'll bring people on and we'll talk about different industries. Some of the people that I find have safe products, I'll probably bring them on. What drove them to create these fantastic products? And what do they see in the industry from their point of view? So we're going to be talking a lot about things like that, but it's going to be all this focus on how do we move companies forward to get brand loyalty, to to find the consumer that nobody's reaching out to. There was an article which I've posted all over my LinkedIn many, many times about how this is the hidden consumer when it comes to food and products. People like me who have various sensitivities, intolerances, or allergies to food. It is a 15, it is a $19 billion underserved market, meaning that companies are leaving $19 billion on the table every year because they don't know how to reach that hidden consumer. So, for those of you that have stuck around, thank you. If you've hung out with me, I appreciate it. So, we're going to move forward from here, and you guys have a fantastic rest of your Memorial Day. And I'll see you in a couple weeks with another new topic. I'll be launching a LinkedIn newsletter that will come out once a month. We've got my blog, and then I'll be doing a wrap up on the month of what we discussed, what were the big findings that came out of a lot of this, and any questions you might be leaving. I will talk about at the last LinkedIn of every month. So have a great rest of your day. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your holiday.